the floss.
Do the floss, bro. Come on.
I don't do any popular dances.
Alright, fine.
Do whatever you do.
Ooh, do this one. Yeah. That's even funny too.
That's what I'm going to check in a second.
Let me know.
That's what I'm going to check in a second.
Let me know.
Talk, yeah. That's what I'm going to check in a second. Talk, yeah. That's what I'm going to check in a second. Talk, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm going to check in a second. Talk, yeah. Okay.
I'm wearing print Crocs, black hoodie, black pants. I got some beats, you know. Yeah. Hello, I'm Malik. I'm on the stage. La 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 la. But now high school.
Do me a favor. Go sit in the center in one of the seats and talk.
Just sit down right in the middle.
Yeah, sit right in the middle and talk.
Hello everyone. My name is Malik St. Germain. We're here to discuss a few topics today.
Okay, it works.
It does?
Yep. It's not perfect, but let me try something.
I bet. I might pull up fresh as Ajax. I might pull up in a P-Max. Oh, see me grind past. I done got some.
Okay.
We're all good here?
We're good, man. Thank
All right. Yeah, no problem. Ah.
going this way, maybe wherever the lights are not great in your eyes.
Just squint the whole time. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I honestly don't know if I've ever been. I've worked with UConn, worked with BCE for 7 years in this role. I've definitely gone out to a lot of schools. So I love coming to schools. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to get to school. I always ask
Well, I'm
you
glad
guys.
you can come to this because we've done the AP panel before, and I'm like, you know what? I said to my friends, I go, are these AP?
Yeah, no, and that's I think we encourage kids to do AP too. And
So we do it now before course scheduling. That
yeah,
way.
definitely. When do you guys do that? February?
Yeah.
And that's great. All these guys are probably they're all in school. They're on winter breaks today.
Yes, the 3 seated are current students,
Yeah.
and the 2 standing the break is standing are yeah.
Check, check, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good.
Good.
Good rest.
So, for the live stream,
Yeah.
these are the microphones.
Okay.
But what has to happen, people have to speak up
Okay.
and just, to make it work. Otherwise,
Okay.
this is one. I'm going to show you off right now. That's one that you can pass around.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And this one's full, so that's good.
Okay. That's good.
So I'll put this one down here.
So they're gonna get the kids into their next block, and then the kids who have passed it will be.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you pass both.
It's not gonna get weird opening that.
No, because they're different sources. No, it'll be fine.
Okay.
And if I knew that this was going to be it, I didn't realize it was going to be like 30 people.
Yeah, it's not a day.
I mean, I could have, I could have taped. Let me see if I can go find some tape.
It's really Mr. Jocko and Robert.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's my wife too. My wife went to Quinnipiac. That's what I said to her. She's like, you're gonna bring it home.
Todd, this is Frank Todd. I'm
Hi.
the assistant
Hey, how are you? How are you? Yeah. Hi, meet you. Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, thank you.
I know he's well,
I'm in Woodstock, man. It's on like the northeast corner. Yeah. But I was saying, I love coming to Everyone else has to be there.
All right, nice.
As long as Jim's good, I'm good. Couldn't sleep last night. Couldn't sleep.
You couldn't sleep. Is this? But this isn't we need the slide.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't have that. How are you doing, sir? Good. How you doing? Good.
Hold on.
No, I measure time now. When I'm back to the
Yeah.
He knows that.
How's it going? I don't know.
Where's Fitz going?
Maybe right here?
Yeah, save one for.
Yeah, so Fitz, maybe right here.
Alright, yeah. Okay, perfect.
All right. So as far as microphones go, hey guys, as far as microphones go,
There's 17 of them?
there's two. You got to pass it, and this is the mic for the live feed. This is the mic that goes out to the people, but you have to pass it around to each other.
Okay.
So when no, check. So when you talk into this, you'll also be talking into that, and it'll work. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. It was right under my chair.
Yeah, a lot of emails get sent fast. That's good.
Where's the other one?
I know. I'm over. So we don't have seat up there. I was sweatshirt on all morning.
Yeah. So nice. Yeah. I like it. It's great. Almost done. See, yeah, I'm almost there. I'm getting towards the finish line.
I do.
I'll do
Not
actually.
often. I mean, or because Frank stays standing.
Yeah, so the two seats.
We can also slide down one. Like,
Yeah. That is 20.
Do you want how do you mind to sit at the end?
no, I probably over here,
Yeah.
and then maybe they can slide over one.
We can all move down.
Yeah, listen.
Everybody sit down
I'll
one.
Put the guidance counselors over. Can everybody just slide down one, or? Perfect.
Leave your Celsius behind. Did this did you get that vibe? That's a different one. There was a vibe pack at AG's. There was
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like the trying to strong armor into letting me go take her out to dinner or something.
Oh, I like that one too.
it didn't have
I like this one. This is actually not mine.
Wow. You guys know who Rube Goldberg is, right?
Yeah.
1 2 1 2. Okay, so whoever's talking, this is the live feed. That's the thing. All you need to talk normal. It's all good. And when you talk, it should be about an inch from the mic head, like about that. Okay.
There's risers on it.
There you go.
Yeah. That's going to come in. As always, that's right.
Frank, what are the risers for? Are we going to be serenaded? Or are we going to plan risers? Are we going to
Secret. Oh, yeah. Well, Chris Cox was going to serenade you, but unfortunately he's not feeling well. So Frank Peters is going to do it.
Oh, good. Okay, I heard you.
And they were going to do a duet, but
He's not
Frank
solo.
said he could.
He's more of a solo.
Yeah,
artist.
absolutely.
He doesn't like to be brought down.
He warmed up on 8th grade night. Now he's on fire.
Wait,
Now.
Mr. Data, do I have to sing the national anthem before we do this?
Mr. Peters might be singing the national anthem, actually. No, we're not going to do national anthem, but maybe we should.
I do.
I didn't think we were back when we were doing that, Stephanie, but it's like old habits die hard, right? Peters, were you singing the national anthem before we started? I forgot.
You and I have a duet,
I
yeah.
wanted to know if you were singing the national anthem.
We're going to do Ebony and Ivory afterwards. Yeah.
Who's gonna split?
How's that?
Perfect, yeah.
We're going to see how we are on time. I got more questions that we could possibly go through, but we'll see how the interest of it.
Katie, can I ask you a quick question?
Welcome, folks. Come on all the way down to the front. Fill in front seats, please.
Frank, I was going through last night and I had to go repairing. I couldn't find this question.
All the way down to the front, please. Fill in the front seats first. We have a full house today. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Down the front, fellas. Come on now. That's not the front.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. But there's no.
Come on all the way down.
Hand the camera back and forth. No, I'm just gonna fix it on.
Please fill in the seats in the front first.
All the way down, gentlemen. All the way.
Can you use the podium this way? Put that there.
He's got it.
Hey Xavier, how you doing? Would you guys mind sitting in the front? Thank you very much.
Come on down, young lady. Ladies, thank you. We got reserved seating for you. Good morning. Would you mind filling in the front seats first? Would you mind filling those very front seats first? Thank you. Thank you. Guys, would you mind just go down the end of this row, please? Thank you. Thanks, guys. If you could fill every seat, please. Fantastic. Thank you. All the way to the end. Thanks. Thank you. All right, next row. Thank you. Guys, all the way down. We're filling this row. All the way down, please. We're filling this row, guys. No, there we go. Thanks. All the way down. Fill every seat. Guys, if you grab a seat right here. Next aisle, please. All the way to the end, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. All the way to the end. Guys, if you can come down and fill these seats in. Okay, ladies. We grab some seats here. Hold on. We need a couple seats here. Right here. That's it. 2 here. You 3 are together. Go ahead. Huh? Huh? It's fun. Come on, guys. Fill in each seat, please. Ladies, come on down. Thank you. Ladies, fill in each seat, please. 2 more. Next aisle. If you could go all the way to the end, please. Guys, come on down to this one. Thank you. All the way down to the end, please. Thanks, fellas. Just fill in each seat. Next row, all the way to the end. All right, we need 3 here, please. Are you guys together? 3, 2, more. Guys, come down this way. Would you mind filling in these seats here? These 3 seats? You guys, could you please fill in these 3 seats? Thank you, guys. If you could fill in these seats. That's it. All the way down, please. Thank you. Okay, next row, could you just fill in the seats all the way down? Thank you. All the way down. Just filling these seats. Guys, we're filling in the front seats. That's it. That's it. All the way to the end. Thank you. Yep, right here. Good job. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. You can fill in these seats. Thank you.
She said there was a date, there was a number, to year. She had it lined up.
Currently debating that.
Congrats.
Minimum 2.
Listen.
How many do you have?
I'm 25, but you know me. I think. If I had to guess, it depends on.
Maybe I'll go to higher ed.
Yeah. My youngest, my youngest is going to SCAD in Savannah.
Oh, great.
She goes down and adjusts well, and I know she's good.
Naples, here you come. Yeah.
So that's yeah. Auditoriums can be deceiving though. And you start going like 8, 15, so what are you guys doing at the end of the month? I have a bunch of stuff. I brought a bunch of pens and keychains and squishy stress ball and all that kind of stuff.
So we invite junior parents and the entire junior class to along the secondary process assumptions, how to do a search, to give them each their transcripts so they can start a bunch of searches.
Ready for action?
College fair and stuff.
Yeah, cool.
We start asking some trivia questions so they get excited. So they actually
okay. Yeah.
And we have the parents here so that they fund it, like parents and friends.
Good.
Just trying to bring us back.
Okay. I just say good because it seemed like parents were doing the entire process and then the kids had no idea what was going on.
We've seen both. I've seen
Yeah, good.
parents do laps and I've seen like parents get
Yeah, we've seen like our process, the registration process. Hopefully, because we've simplified it so much, it is more students are actually doing it themselves.
What? Yeah, I know. We heard that Southern and Central's dual enrollment is going to dual.
Yeah, we're working with them. Yeah, we're helping them.
Where
We, our director, Chris.
Well, so
we're trying to make a very cohesive state concurrent enrollment. Like, we don't want to separate ourselves from everyone else. We always want to like blend in and bring things together. Oh, that's odd.
No, Todd. Oh no. I mean, after all the talk about
So it's based on teacher recommendation and interest, and so they
so
sign
when I
up
get
for
to
the
the part
course,
where,
and there is a secondary.
after I do the informational part and get to the adult panel, I'll introduce the teachers.
Yeah.
I'll introduce you and I'll pass the mic to you if you'd like to just say a couple words.
Yeah.
And then I'll let the students introduce themselves. We'll talk to the counselors and they'll talk about the enrollment process, and then we get ready to do Q&As.
Awesome.
So once I start doing the questions, there's 2 microphones. We'll have a microphone that'll be passed between the students, and then when I ask the questions, I'll pass the microphone, so we'll have like an adult side microphone and a student side microphone.
Perfect.
So you guys keep that mic down there. Just remember it's going to be live, and the adult microphone will be shared between us on this side.
Perfect. You need this one?
Yeah, so we should get started. Good morning, Bunnell High School. Audio check, Mr. Miller, that's good? That gives me the shrug. Good morning, everybody. Good, high energy, good morning. Hello, my name is Frank Peters. I'm the STEM department head here at Bunnell High School, and I have the privilege to lead us in this presentation this morning on AP and dual enrollment here at Bunnell High School. Wow, thank you. I didn't really think I was applause-worthy, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. So we go to the next slide right here. The biggest thing I want to get out of the way early is the difference between what we call dual enrollment and the AP courses. Because I get this question a lot. I just did the middle school open house the other day, so if you have younger siblings that attended that, I answered this question for some parents then. But if you're new to Bunnell, or if you just had this question that hasn't been answered for you before, we're going to go through really quickly the difference between these two and the number of options you have here at Bunnell High School. So the advanced placement AP system is something run by the College Board. Yes, the same people that run the SATs and all those other standardized tests you know and love. The College Board is a massive corporation that has a lot of connections between high schools and other secondary institutions, colleges, universities, worldwide really. And the AP tests are often taken for these courses in the spring. If you sign up for any of the AP courses you see, there's usually some sort of culminating exam and/or project at the end of it that's taken in May, that if students do well enough, they can earn college credit through their performance on that. That's the one that most people are familiar with because the College Board has been around for decades. And the AP system, the advanced placement courses that you see, many of them have been in place for decades, while there have been some new ones added recently as the past couple of years. So we go to the next slide. This is the AP experience here at Bunnell High School. We offer AP 2D Art and Design, AP Biology, AP Calculus, both A, B, and BC, AP Chemistry, AP Computer Science, AP Language, AP Lit, AP Latin, AP Macroeconomics, AP Physics 1, 2, and C, AP Psychology, AP Spanish, AP Statistics, AP US Government and Politics, and AP US History. Each of these courses is something you can enroll in as a full year course to prepare for an exam in the spring that can give you college credit with an adequate performance. And that college credit is something that is accepted at most major universities. You can search the College Board's website to see where your credit will be accepted, and it's a nice way to earn college credit through a summative exam at the end of these courses. These are very rigorous courses, and you can see some of the teachers up there that are currently teaching these courses. So if you're like, hey, I know that person, and you'd like to talk to them about the course that you see there, feel free to strike up a conversation with that teacher. Now, dual enrollment is a little bit different. On the next slide, dual enrollment is a partnership that we have with local universities. These are universities within the state of Connecticut that say to us, hey, instead of studying for one big exam at the end of the course, why don't you enroll in one of our college courses while you're in high school, and you can do the coursework for that college class in your high school classes and get credit through your coursework. Sometimes there's also projects and exams tied to it, but it's something that you can get college credit for before May in some cases. Some of these courses are offered as semester options, and you can, just for the fall semester, literally from the first market period through the second market period, you can earn college credit for half of a high school year in some cases. And so you would be enrolled in these courses at the same time. If we go to the next slide on this, here's some of our dual enrollment courses. We offer dual enrollment in courses such as accounting, early childhood education, English language. You'll notice that it says AP English language because if you take AP Lang, you can get dual enrollment credit through a local university, but you can also sign up for that AP exam in the spring. In some cases, you can double dip and you can get college credit through the dual enrollment course, but then you pass the AP exam and say, hey, I've kind of got college credit two ways, and some universities will let you apply that credit in multiple ways towards your undergraduate transcript. We have a number of graduates that are graduating this year and have graduated in the past that have gone into college after Bunnell High School and been almost sophomores in college because of the number of credits they've gotten. Which, if you're like me and you're already planning for your own college education, I've got children at home myself and I'm already having like anxiety attacks at home thinking about how am I going to pay for some of these college classes. The course cost for these dual enrollment classes is a small fraction of what you would pay if you were to take them on campus at some of these universities. So you can see the full list right here. Some of these are tied to UConn courses, to Southern Connecticut State University courses, to Housatonic courses. If we go to the next slide, these are some of our local universities we are partnered with. Southern Connecticut State University, University of Connecticut, Housatonic College, or Sacred Heart University. Now before I get this question later, you might say, I don't want to go to Southern, I don't want to go to UConn, I want to go somewhere else out of state. These are all accredited universities within the state of Connecticut where if you say, hey, what if I get college credit at UConn? I could say as somebody that's attended 3 universities myself to get my degrees, credits can transfer across schools. You can get some credit at Southern and transfer them somewhere else. You can get some credit at UConn, transfer them somewhere else. You could take credit at Southern and UConn and apply them to some university out of state. You just have to contact the university you applied to say, hey, I've got these credits, how would they apply to my transcript? So you don't have to go to these schools if you get credit from them. This is just a way for you to get college credit from these schools while you're here at Bunnell High School. Now we get to the fun part of the presentation. We've got a great panel today of people who are representing some of these universities. We've got some of our staff members, some of our students past and present, who will be able to answer some questions today. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dave Jockel. Currently teaches AP Psychology here at Bunnell High School. Mr. Luke Roberts. Teaching AP and ECE, United States History. And Mr. Ryan Fitzsimmons. Mr. Ryan Fitzsimmons teaches both AP and ECE statistics here at Bunnell High School. Fun fact, Mr. Fitzsimmons and I met while we were both college students many, many years, not that many years ago. No, we're still youthful and vibrant. But we met so many years ago as undergraduate students ourselves. And I'd like to introduce a special guest. Some of you may have had email contact with this gentleman. This is Mr. Todd Blodgett, Program Assistant Registration Coordinator at the University of Connecticut. You can see his bio here. Go ahead, clap it up. You can see he is a program assistant in the Office of Early College Programs and the Registration Coordinator for UConn Early College Experience. He's responsible for coordinating the registration process for ECE courses with UConn's partnership high schools. He attended the University of Connecticut himself, where he earned a bachelor's degree in Applied and Resource Economics. Would you like to say a couple words?
Yeah, so just being here today, I just really want to have the opportunity to answer any questions you may have about transferring credit, what it's like if you come to UConn, if you go to another university. The big thing with our courses and our program is you get into the UConn system with a UConn ID, you start a transcript with us, and then like we've talked about, and we'll probably answer some questions, what do you do with that once you get it?
Thank you very much. Now we have a microphone at the far end of the table, which we're going to pick up right now. If we go to our next slide, I'm going to have our students introduce themselves. Some of these are current students, and some of these are recent graduates. Why don't we start on this end? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Marcus. I'm a senior.
Hi, my name is Steven Mendoza. I'm also a senior.
Hi, I'm Wisdom Wizard. I'm a senior here at Benel.
Good morning, my name is Stephanie Lupo. I'm a recent graduate of the class of 2024, and I'm a freshman currently at the University of Connecticut studying music education.
Hi, I'm Baka Kalemba. I'm also a recent graduate of class of 2024, and I'm a nursing student at the University of Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Reese Separak, and I am class of 2020 at Benel and a senior currently at UConn studying secondary history and social studies education.
Hello and good morning. My name is Bear Malfrey. I'm a class 2024. I'm a current freshman at Boston College studying computer science and economics.
And on our next slide, we've got two more special introductions. On my end over here, I've got two of our school counselors, Ms. Patty Costa and Ms. Dallas Borgerson. Now you'll notice that they are both school counselors up here. Ms. Costa is our AP coordinator here at Benel High School, and Ms. Borgerson is our dual enrollment coordinator.
Thank you. I'd also like to introduce Mrs. Gettings, who's in the back of the auditorium, who also assists with AP coordination. So how do you enroll if you want to take an AP or a dual enrollment course? So it's a multi-step process. So during your course selection, where you sit down with your counselor, your teachers have made recommendations for you for your courses. So teacher recommendation and interest on your part during course selection. So you would sign up for the course, and then during the fall, there's a second step where you actually have to complete the registration, whether it's for the UConn ECE or it's for other dual enrollment with Southern or Housatonic. And then there's also AP registration in the fall, which goes until March 1st, actually, for this year. Students sign up for AP registration using the total registration platform, and that is in the fall, as well as the UConn ECE registration as well. You want to talk about that?
So with UConn ECE or other dual enrollment, okay, there may be some summer assignments just to be aware that you have to complete because it is a college level class. In the fall, when the open enrollment period comes for the specific universities, you will get emails and directions from your teachers about those deadlines. Those are deadline specific. They're treating you like a college student, and it's a great opportunity. Some of these courses can go for no cost to earn college credit, up to a very minimal fee, and it's quite a huge savings. So like for a regular college class, it can cost up to like $3,000 or $4,000 for one course, and you're getting it at a fraction of the price or sometimes free. So it's a great opportunity. Strongly encourage you to do it. For dual enrollment, you do also need to earn at least a C or better in the class to have it transferable and pass whatever benchmark or exams for the particular university.
And then, as Mr. Peters said, for AP testing, most colleges will accept a 4 or a 5 on the exam. Some will accept a 3. And that will vary based on it's college specific. So you should check the websites of the colleges that you're interested in to see what they would require you to earn on that test.
And that's a great point. Just a little bit about my personal background. Before I became administrator here, I taught both math and science at different levels. And one of the courses that I taught was calculus, which features both AP and dual enrollment options. And I can tell you that I taught some students that were just like, I'm just going to go to UConn and major in business. And I kind of like calculus, but I don't really need it for my future. And UConn would accept, at the time, they would accept like a 3, and maybe you could correct me on this, but they would accept a 3 on the BC test as college credit, but they would accept only a 4 on the AB test for college credit. Whereas I had one student that was like, I'm going to MIT, and this was his dream to be an engineer. And MIT said, well, then you better get a 5. So depending on what school you go to and what you're planning to study, the AP scores may vary, and that's why the College Board's website will list that. So don't just think to yourself, all I need is a whatever on the exam. It varies based on what your major may be, what school you're going to go to, and what test you're taking. And that's something you can look up later. So now the fun part, we get to answer some questions from our adult panel as well as from our student panel, and we're going to start with something for both adults and students alike. And this question is just about our motivation. Why would you say students should, or why students would you say that they should, that you should take AP or dual enrollment classes in high school? Why would you recommend this?
Okay, well, I'll start. One of the biggest reasons why I advocate for so many young students to take AP and ECE classes, we'll start with, is the climate in the classrooms. If you take these classes, the teachers themselves are going to, yes, be more serious. The academics might be more rigorous, but the behavior and the whole setting of the room is in so many ways more pleasant and more student friendly. You're going to be in a situation where maybe a teacher's not getting frustrated with things like behavior distractions or just trying to manage the classrooms through. So if you're sitting in front of us right now, you've been recognized by some teachers as being serious in the classroom. And if you are serious as a student, taking these classes can put yourselves in a much better situation as far as what the class is going to be like. In addition to that, this is now the second year for Connecticut to do direct admissions, and this is something I know guidance has told you about, but I think we need to keep saying. If you graduate from Bunnell High School with a 3.0 weighted or 2.7 unweighted GPA, you get direct admissions into all of the satellite state schools, which includes Eastern, Southern, Central. You get direct admissions into Bridgeport University, New Haven, Alberta, St. Joe's. I think there's a list of 8 schools, and that puts you in a position to go to some of these schools that are much more affordable, and it takes a stress away come senior year going into application time. So when you take these classes, you are getting a weighted grade. So even if you get a C in an AP class, it's not a C as it would stand in some of these other classes. You're going to get higher GPA points for that, and that makes a big difference when looking at these applications. And one final thing before we go over to Mr. Robertson, I know he's going to talk about the rigor and how those classes are work-wise. Just speaking on personal experiences, these classes give you the chance when you get into college to potentially bypass some required classes. I can't stress to my students enough how important it is at Bunnell High School with Mr. Fitzsimmons and Mr. Atkins teaching the ECE and AP statistics classes, that you can get those credits and then go into the schools and not have to take those classes when you get there. These classes are typically in college extremely difficult for freshmen, and you have the opportunity here with 2 awesome teachers to try to just get that credit and get that done with, so that when you get into college, you can kind of focus on studies that might be a little bit more in tune with what you want to kind of do with your, with your 4 years experience in college. So I'm going to give it over to Mr. Roberts here, and we all have open doors for questions for any of you when it comes to these things.
Good morning, everyone. I want to sort of address my comments to maybe freshmen who are in the audience who haven't taken an AP class, or even if you're a sophomore or junior and you haven't taken an AP class before, because my class, AP US History, is oftentimes the first AP class that a lot of kids take. And there's some degree of anxiety that comes along with that, moving up to an AP level class. And What I want to just sort of talk about for a minute is why you might want to do that. Why would you take on something that's more challenging? Why would you take something on that's more difficult than what you're used to? And really the answer to that is because by challenging yourself, that's how you're going to grow as a student. I teach AP-US history, and I also teach civics. And junior year, you'll have an opportunity to take AP government or civics. And you could take my civics class, all of you could take my civics class, and you would do really well. It would be relatively easy for you. And you could take AP Gov, and you might struggle a little more. It's a difficult class. It would be more hard work. It would be more of a struggle. But what you learn from the struggle is more important sometimes than just sort of coasting through and getting an A. So talking about like what Mr. Jockel said, you get an A in an AP class, or I'm sorry, a C in an AP class or an A in a CP class, it makes a difference. The experience makes a difference. So if you come into my class sophomore year or whenever you take it, and it's the first AP class that you've ever taken before, it will be harder than what you knew. And it will be more difficult or more of a workload, or we move at a faster pace. But by the end of the year, you'll have learned some valuable skills that will help you in whatever classes you take in the future. And the other thing I want to make is, I sort of joke around with my students when they're complaining to me and I give them homework again and again and again and they're like, why? And I jokingly say, well, you chose the AP life, But what I mean by that really is you're committing to wanting to improve yourself. And it is a commitment. And it's a commitment that will involve time outside of school. It's something you have to be dedicated to. I mean, if you join a sport, you understand that you have to be committed to that sport outside of school hours. If you join the band, you have to understand you'll be committed to the band outside of school hours. And if you decide to take an AP class, it's the same thing. You have to be able to commit yourself to time outside of school in order to be successful. So it is a commitment. It's something that you're choosing because you want to do better for yourself. You want to put yourself in the best possible place for the future. And that's what these classes can do for you. Mr. Fitz?
All right, everybody, so just to talk a little bit about statistics that we offer here, and going off of what Mr. Roberts and Mr. Jockel said, is we have made the commitment, and you see the different courses that are offered. And if you see one that might interest you, we have a lot of opportunities that exist there, and one of them being, talking about statistics. Well, Mr. Roberts has one that's the initial classes students take. Students can take ours really at any point that they can fit it in their schedule, and usually come senior year, junior, they've had more experience, they take this and they're kind of pushing themselves, but it is a class that gets transferred to many, many careers. So you may look at it and say, well, I don't want to be a math major, I need statistics, but every course, if you look at colleges, are going to require that. So a lot of the ones we offer in that list are ones that students have to take as requirements. So you may say, well, I'm not going to be that major, but there are courses that are required, and getting it done with in high school with the support of a high school teacher can be in a better situation than going into college and taking as a freshman. So getting that experience, looking at the list of offerings that we have and what might fit you best, and getting that experience in a college environment and seeing the college level courses while you're here is a great opportunity for all the things that I mentioned, with the opportunity for courses and paying for it and all the other things and getting credit going into your freshman year. So I'm going to pass it along to... Yep.
I just want to re-emphasize one part of that is that my oldest daughter is currently up at UConn. She graduates in May. She is a psychology major. She had to take statistics in her freshman year, and she will absolutely say that that was the most difficult class she took. It was just something she didn't have much of an interest in, and it was really hard. So again, taking these classes here rather than having to take them as those prerequisites in college can make a really, really big difference.
Just to add on, as a parent, my son also took AP classes in high school, and it allowed him to begin his graduate work early in his senior year. So it's definitely beneficial.
And so just some kind of final points from my perspective in being at UConn. One of the biggest things and the misconceptions and the wording around the class is you're not taking a class that's like a college class, you are taking a UConn class. So your teachers here are working with the professors and the faculty at UConn. They come to campus, they meet with them every other year. They're getting feedback on their classes. They're working on their syllabus to have it mimic and emulate a class at UConn or a UConn class. The biggest difference is when you take that class at UConn, you're taking it in 14 weeks. And you're only meeting with your professors at most 2 times a week for about 50 minutes or an hour. So you're only getting contact with your professor, and a lot of times it's going to be with the TA for only about 40 hours to learn an entire course, versus when you're taking it here, you're meeting with your teacher every day, you're getting feedback, they're more available to you, you're not sitting. This room that we're in right now, many of your freshman classes at larger universities are going to look like this, where you're sitting in an auditorium with 200 plus people, and that's a difficult environment to learn in, and that's a big learning curve that I experienced as a college student. I think we're going to go down the table and have some of your former classmates talk about maybe their experience as a freshman. So taking these courses, whether it's AP or the UConn or Sacred Heart courses that are offered here, you're getting an experience, and you're starting to get an understanding of what it is like to take a UConn course or a college course.
All right, so any student that wants to jump in right now, I'd like to hear from you all. The same question. Why would you recommend taking these college courses, or would you like to speak to your experience in taking them?
I think one real benefit for me is that, at least for speaking to myself, my major is very comprehensive. I'm majoring in music education, which is really 2 degrees in itself. It's getting a music degree and a teaching degree, so not only am I becoming a performer and a musician in 1 degree, but also learning how to become an educator. And I went into UConn with about 40 credits, which put me at sophomore status. So as in my degree program, I take about 10 courses, which is way more than the average college student takes, but I was really able to focus in on my degree program early into my college career, which not a lot of freshmen can get without the AP and the ECE experience, which was a huge benefit. And I was watching my friends who didn't have the same experience with the AP program, struggle over elementary concepts of stats or general psychology while also having to balance the theory and the ear training and all the ensembles we were in. So that was a huge plus. And not only is there academic benefits like getting able to skip over general education requirements, the credits that you go into college with, usually at every university, will get you ahead in housing picks and picking your classes. At a larger university, you're going to be competing with hundreds or maybe even thousands of other students to pick the classes for your spring semester, your fall semester that you want to get in. And when you have a higher credit status, you most of the time get an earlier pick time, which allows you to secure those classes or secure the housing, the suites that you want early, freshman and sophomore year. So that was a huge benefit to me, outside of academics.
I took some of these classes to kind of challenge myself, especially in the major I want to go into this fall, computer science. I kind of wanted to set myself up better, kind of give myself a challenge with these classes. Some of the classes that I've taken are mostly STEM-based classes, a few from AP-US History, AP-Psych. I really focus on taking and excelling in these STEM-based classes to kind of gain myself experience while also being kind of competitive for college admissions. I feel like it was very important for me to take some of these classes to set myself up in the fall, so that even so for most of the classes I've taken, their credits don't transfer over. However, I've kind of basically gained experience, gained the knowledge to really excel in these gen ed requirements for this fall.
I think it's really important to take AP classes because it helps you get a jump start on college. So I know you're gonna have less courses to take if you get your credits from these AP courses. And I also, personally, I'm someone who asks a lot of questions, so having a teacher available to help me with things is definitely helpful, and you're not gonna have that as often in college. So.
For me personally, taking AP and ECE classes was very beneficial, especially to my major. Nursing majors, we have to take a bunch of prereqs before our clinical year in the junior year, which is very jam-packed and takes all of our time. So coming into UConn for my freshman year, it was the best feeling in the world watching my academic advisor check off all the credits that I already had taken so that my schedule was a lot less filled up and I had less courses to take. And it also helps you in your freshman year when you have less classes on your schedule, so you can really just focus on getting adjusted to the college life. Because honestly, if you haven't taken like AP classes and ECE classes before you get to college, you're in for a rude awakening. It's very different. The classes are just like this, where the teacher can literally just stand here and put all the information on the slide and just walk away. And you have to take most of the time to learn and study yourself. So it teaches you how to be really disciplined and how to put the hard work and the effort in without being told to do so.
Yeah, I think everyone made great points here, and as a senior, I'm seeing how everyone's talking about all the benefits, especially earlier on this brings to college. But after taking so many of these classes, pretty much almost all of my 4 years, a point a lot of people made was the emphasis on teacher support, and I can't talk about how important that is. I've had a lot of great instructors at UConn, but sometimes these instructors are doing research or something on the side, and their primary role isn't to be a teacher like everyone is in high school here, and they have a concern for your interests and want to see you do your best and perform your best in these AP classrooms. So that environment that you have here is definitely special and way more supportive on an individual basis than you would most likely get at the university level.
Just to finish that question up, the one thing I would say about these classes is preparation. First of all, you're taking these courses that are college level courses, so same difficulty. So when you go as a freshman myself, I was able to go into college and find it just like high school, right? Just different schedule now, that's all it is, right? So besides the preparation, it saves you two very valuable things, time and money, right? I think everyone agrees that they're very needed in life. So because of the classes I took, now I'm able to take a double major. So besides computer science, also econ, which opens double the doors, double the opportunities in my life, which I find to be a blessing. And the very last thing is it helps you a lot, to be honest with you, because as I said, like I was in marching band, I was in the volleyball team, a lot of clubs. So when it's something that motivates you to manage your time, because you know you have an assignment due on Monday morning and it's Sunday night and it's 11 p.m. and you're rushing. When you get used to that thing, it's not really good, but due to the workload and all the things you have, it sort of pushes you to discipline yourself and work in a good schedule, and it really makes you manage your time. I think it's a really good opportunity for everyone to take, and just a blessing, honestly.
So why don't you keep the microphone down there for a second. I want to just go down the student panel for one moment with this question. Question is going to be, how was your experience in any ECE or AP class you took here at Bunnell High School different than your previous classes? What was one way that it was different than your previous classes, and what adjustments did you have to make?
I think the difference is, as we said, the coursework. It's more work, obviously, because it's a college level class. But because it was more work and the teachers are all available to help you, I found myself to be learning a lot, and I just find it honestly enjoyable, because when you have, you're working with your classmates and everyone's struggling on a problem, you get to work together. So it's really helpful for engaging with everyone else.
For me personally, I think of Mr. Roberts, sophomore year, and that being my first AP class with AP-ECE History. And what he does a great job of, and which I thought was different than most other courses, is just how kind of tight and set the schedule is. So while it may seem intimidating, you know what's coming up and you know what content you're learning and what you're doing. So I felt like I was prepared and I always knew what was coming up next, which was nice. Whereas some other days in the class, anything can happen on any given day. There were set expectations and I think a workload that made it better for both the student and the teacher.
I think it was different because I think it was Mr. Jockel who said the environment definitely is different. The teachers recognize that your students who want to set yourself apart and want to work harder, so they help you a lot more. So although you may look at the course beforehand, especially if you haven't taken an AP course before, it may be your first one, you may look at it and be nervous. It might give you a little anxiety, but the teachers really work with you through everything. Although the coursework may be a little more rigorous, they work with you individually. They walk you through it step by step, and they recognize that you're students who want to put the effort forth, so they also put the effort forth as well.
I think one big difference between my regular classes and my AP classes in high school was definitely the work ethic. Freshman, sophomore year, I thought I knew everything until I got to junior year and took AP Calc AB with Miss T, and I know a lot of people on this panel can agree with me. That class whipped me into shape. Thank you. Yeah, it's just work ethic. Like, obviously all of you being invited to this panel like tells you you have AP potential, but there is a commitment on both sides, not from the teachers like teaching you this college level content, but also from you to, like what Barham says, like getting the work done, not just cramming it in, actually studying, doing active recall to delve more into the material. That's really the main purpose why you should be taking an AP class, not only to get the credit, but to be able to delve into a subject that you're interested in, you know, and taking classes like AP Calculus AB and learning literally Calculus 1 in one semester to prepare for the UConn exam really changed my perspective on what it means to be a hard worker. Also taking AP Lang with Mrs. Martiri my junior year taught me a whole like other perspective of writing and what it means to be a communicator, and that's another skill that's so important in your adult life, and you need to go into college knowing how to write and going into the workforce knowing how to be a communicator. So those are two skills, communication and work ethic, that really changed once I hit my junior year and started taking a lot of AP classes.
I think what was different for AP classes and regular classes were like definitely what Stephanie just said was the workload. My freshman year I took pre-calc honors, and the class wasn't as hard as the class I was going to take the following year, which was AP Calculus AB. I definitely spent a lot of time trying to review the material, trying to push myself. I definitely spent a lot of hours after school on in a given week trying to understand the material. Even though it was fresh to me, I still didn't really understand it as well as I did the taking pre-calc honors. I set myself up well in the class, AP Calculus AB, to then take the following class, AP Calculus BC, in my junior year. And because I spent all the time in the first year or in the second year of my sophomore year really understanding material, the junior year class, AP Calculus BC, was very like kind of self-soothing than AP Calculus AB.
Yeah, definitely the work ethic and the workload. I know when I was in AP Psych, I got the first summer work, the workbook, and I was like, what in the world is this? Like, it was different than, I think you combine all the work in like the CP classes, and I was like, it was crazy. But I definitely had to set myself like a time to study and to do work and to put all that work. Yeah.
I think the biggest difference from the classes I took before my APs and then my AP classes is the kids in the class. I think it's more, you really have to make the choice to take an AP rather than having to take like a CP class or an honors. So a lot of the kids in the AP classes want to be there, and if you like text someone like, oh, I don't understand this, like people are willing to help and like work with each other and get stuff done.
I just want to make a quick observation, is that every student is different. And some students will say, this AP class or this EEC class was really easy for me. And some will say, that one was really, really hard for me. And just that idea of an early college experience, I can tell you that when I was teaching calculus, some of my favorite early college experience students were ones that took a class with me and they said, this is the hardest class I've ever taken. You were the hardest teacher I ever had. I wanted to drop this class every day, but you forced me to stay. And I still didn't get the college credit, and I hated you for a while until I got to college and realized that now I'm the only person in my class that knows what's going on. And that early college experience for some students is, I think what Baca said, is like that rude awakening of like, wow, this is what college level expectations are like. Because I can promise you that in life there will always be easier paths. There will always be a path of less resistance for you. There will always be an option for you to drop out, for you to give up. That option is always there, but that option will never make you stronger. And part of why we offer so many opportunities for you is because really it's like we don't get bonuses for this, we don't get extra incentives for you to take these courses. It's for your benefit. People here work in this school and work in education because we care about your success. And I like what Barham said about what are the two biggest gains you get on this is you can save time and you can save money. And both of those things are very valuable in life, but in my experience you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. And so the more you can save of both in your life, the happier I think you'll be. So I want to just say, what do you think? Again, we can go down student panel first on this. What was your favorite AP or ECE course to date?
I would say my favorite course was APUSH, AP-US History with Mr. Roberts. It was a really good introduction. Mr. Roberts is great. So.
Well, I've only taken one, and it was AP-Psych, but AP-Psych has like taught me a lot, and it really has helped me like better myself.
I would say AP Stats with Mr. Fitzsimmons, because it was like kind of like not the traditional algebra that you kind of learn in like your 4 years. It was kind of a different type of math that I really liked.
I'm going to kind of repeat myself, but AP Calc, AB, especially with Miss T, taught me how to be a hard worker. AP Lang with Miss Martieri taught me how to be a communicator, and then Music Theory ECE, which is an AP, but dual enrollment, was really fundamental for me going into my degree program, kind of like a prerequisite and fundamentals to the theory I'm doing currently in college.
AP Psych with Mr. Jockel was a pretty fun environment, but AP Stats with Mr. Adkins, it was a good class, probably just because I like math, but it was a good class that he related it to like everyday life, and we really learned, at least I really learned in that class.
I would say AP-US History with Mr. Roberts. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I think taking that class was an early inspiration into pushing me into the education field.
I would say UConn Seminar with Mrs. Miller was a course that started last year. That was like a highlight in my senior year. It was super fun. All my friends were in there. We were discussing every day, arguing, just discussing different controversial topics. It was super fun, and it taught me how to present presentations very well.
And now for our teacher panel on here. I want to ask a question to the teachers, and students may have this experience as well if you want to chime in, but what would you say is the biggest difference or benefit to taking a course you teach here versus taking the equivalents on campus of the university? We touched on it for a couple things, but maybe specific to your course that you teach. What's an advantage to taking it here versus actually taking the same course at a university, since they are the same course?
Okay, for psychology, the most important reason to take it here is because when you, let's say you wanted to study psych at in a university setting, the course that we do here is going to allow you to bypass that general psych class, which you have to take in one semester at a university. And so often, like it was said before, these introductory to psychology classes in a university setting are done in an auditorium setting like this. So you don't get the personal connection with a professor that you would in a class like mine. And then after that, you can start focusing on classes that are a little more centralized into the studies that you might be interested in, whether it be early childhood development or scientific studies with behavioral modifications in medicine. You can really start to isolate into what you want to study.
Yeah, and sort of building off of that, I think access to the instructor is the most important thing, because in high school, you have all of these teachers who will meet with you. Like, I have a test coming up, and I'll stay after school. I'll stay after school 2 or 3 or 4 times and review things with you. And when you go to college, I mean, the college professors, they'll have office hours, and many of them will work with you. I don't want to make it sound like they won't. but I think the level of attention you have from the teachers in high school is far greater than you'll see in college, and that's so important.
Thanks. As both these gentlemen said about the teachers being available to you, one of the things also that is offered through the ECE program is kind of an intro to college experiences. We're giving you the college class. We work with the professors of the colleges to make sure our stuff is up to par. But one of the things is that we can give a semester course and they give us the full year to teach it. So you're going to learn the same materials, you're going to get the same information, you're going to show mastery at the same level, but you do get the benefit of having that year to do it. When you think about this, and I often remind my students, is that this would have been taught in a one semester class in a college environment, and it has to go even faster than we're currently going. That you're given that benefit, kind of introduction to the material, you're getting a chance to master it, but it's given in a longer time frame than you would normally get in a college experience.
Yeah, and then just one of the other things from a college perspective, I don't know if you've heard from siblings, relatives, friends that have gone to college. Many times when you get a syllabus and they list out the grading for the course, it may be a midterm, a final, and 3 assignments, and that's your grade. Whereas a high school course, like when you see your syllabus or your teacher introduces the course to you, there's going to be multiple exams, there's going to be homework assignments, there's going to be discussions because you're in a small setting, and all of that feeds into your final grade. That's what the EC, I know it's different from AP, but that's a big difference that we hear from students and that I experienced when I went to college was you may have a class where the midterm exam that you take in the end of October is 50% of your grade, and the final exam you take in December is 50% of your grade. And if you get a D on one of them, you're really not setting yourself up for success. So this was a great opportunity to sort of do that college work, but also have many opportunities to test and score and see how you grade best.
One more question for our student panel here. We talked about favorite experiences. You don't have to name names of teachers if you don't want to on this, but I'd like you to just share something challenging. You can share maybe like what was the most challenging experience you had taking one of these courses. It could be the coursework, the homework, it could be a specific thing you did in the class. What would you say was your most challenging experience in one of the courses you took?
I think Stephanie said this, AP Calc AV, because the short time frame that we have to study all the material, that really helped me like to be able to focus and set a schedule for myself to study. I think that was the most challenging.
I know for me personally, with AP Statistics, my course here, my grade here might have been A-, but my UConn grade, my ECE grade was a B. And so that B actually transfers over onto your transcript at UConn. So when I was going to UConn, they advised me to not accept that B and to retake the course again. And that could kind of seem like demoralizing that I wasted my time, but it actually set me up really perfectly for that class, and I had a really easy time with it, whereas some other people really struggle with statistics because I already had that background.
Well, calculus for sure is just a hard course, but Bio 1107, when I took it here, it was the first course that I really had to focus on textbook learning. It was a lot of textbook learning. It was a lot of information that we had to learn, and it made me realize that a lot of the classes in college are going to be like this. So it was really hard, but it definitely did set me up for success in college because I'm not seeing it for the first time on a college campus where I'm getting adjusted to everything else. I'm seeing it for the first time in high school. Also, calculus 2, I had A as my Bunnell grade, but when I transferred it over, it was a D in UConn. So I also had to realize that there's different grade levels so that I can't accept that grade. It would bring down my GPA even though I did well in high school. But just learning the differences and how credits work and how it affects your GPAs and all of those, they're challenging, but it's useful knowledge to know.
I would say a hard experience that I had with AP at Bunnell was definitely in AP Physics, C with mechanics. Ms. Record is definitely someone who's going to push you to do your best, and I definitely felt that my junior year. But despite that, I am so glad that I earned that ECE credit because most universities will require you to have a science or take a science with lab, and at like universities like UConn and other large universities, the lab classes are notorious for being much harder than what you ever experience in high school. So I'm glad that I experienced that early on and was able to get that opportunity to get that lab credit and get it out the way, so I didn't have to struggle with that on top of my other studies in college.
Going off of what Stephanie said, I definitely think that AP Physics C Mechanics was like one of the hardest classes I've taken here at Bunnell. Mostly because of Miss Record would definitely push you to understand the material, but understanding the material conceptually, combining calculus, it was very hard to kind of understand like when she was teaching it, and especially doing something like the AP problems or FRQs, MCQs were definitely very hard. Still managed to push through, earning like the ECE credit, so like it was all good in the end. But I feel like that was definitely one of the hardest classes I've taken here.
Like I said, I've only taken one AP class, but keeping up with AP Classroom has been like a really hard thing for me, because like I'll just log on and then there's a bunch of assignments. I'm just like, I just thought I completed all of them like a week ago, and then I just got to keep working. That's really it.
Similar to what Wisdom and Stephanie said, I would absolutely say AP Physics Mechanics C was the hardest course I took. I took it last year and I did not pass the AP test, which is okay because it's an ECE course. But I think just generally I'm not the strongest at science, so combining that with taking AP Calculus AB for the first time, it was just a lot of work and just so much content to take in at the same time.
Got a question I'm going to put to the counselors in just a moment, but some things that were just touched on, which I think is very important, is that you can sign up for certain courses that have both AP and ECE options in the same room, in the same course, in the same class period. So for example, whether it be physics or calculus or psychology, depending on which course you're in, if you have an AP and an ECE option, you might take that AP exam and you get a 2 or you get a 1, which means you didn't pass that test. But that's okay, because with the dual enrollment option, you may get credit through that and have the same prerequisite met when you get to college. So some of these courses have multiple opportunities to get college credit. Another thing that was just brought up, I appreciate you bringing up the grade being transferred, because we're going to talk really quickly about the Bunnell grade, which is separate. But the courses that you take, if you take an AP course, literally at the end of it, colleges are going to see that you got A, B, C, D, whatever at Bunnell High School. But the thing they really look at to see if you got college credit is if you got a 3 or better on those exams, or in some cases a 4 or better on those exams. That's what they look at. And if you get a 4 or better, it just means you don't have to take that college class when you get to certain universities. But if you do dual enrollment at UConn, at Southern, you actually get a course grade, which can affect your college GPA if you transfer it over, which can work to your benefit or to your detriment. I get students all the time that say, I got a C for calculus through the ECE program. Is there a way that when I get to campus I could retake that course to try to improve it? Or I'm taking a major that won't accept a C in calculus. And they may go in and take that course again on campus, but again, that experience of taking it in high school will make them that much ahead of their peers who are seeing it for the first time. But I want to ask right now, our counselors, what is the way that the AP and ECE classes are weighted? Because students know, well, some students know, some of you this may be news to you, but there's a difference obviously between honors and CP courses and how that weight affects your GPA. In other words, a B in an honors class is weighted more than a B in a CP class. How is it different for AP and ECE courses at Bunnell?
Right, so very similarly, AP and dual enrollment classes at Bunnell are weighted the highest possible. So sometimes kids will ask us, well, what am I really getting? What's the advantage of this? And that weighting, the fact that you get the extra weighting, really helps you in terms of your class rank, because the points you earn, as Mr. Peters said, for the points you earn for a certain grade are weighted higher in those AP classes or dual enrollment classes. The other advantage also in taking rigorous coursework is if you're going to a college or university that is maybe test optional, in that case they're going to look very heavily upon your coursework. What kinds of courses did this student take? What are the most rigorous courses offered at Bunnell? And what did this student take? So there are many advantages, you know, the weighting of the class, you know, towards class rank and weighted GPA, but also in terms of, you know, the rigor and how that looks on your transcript coming from high school.
Also, there are a few more selective universities, right, and that instead, let's say, of submitting an SAT or an ACT score, they allow you to submit an AP or a couple AP scores for their admission criteria. So if you done well, got 5 in some of those classes, you can submit an AP score for, like, for example, like NYU. They look at that for admission.
One final question for me for our student panel. This is just a fun question. You may be undecided on this fact right now. Some of you have shared your majors or potential majors. But I just want to know, from each of you here, you'll notice that we're all here because we are students. We are people that have set good goals for ourselves in life. You have to be a goal-oriented person to find success in rigorous paths. And I want to ask our students really quick, in a perfect world, let's say things go exactly as you planned, what's a thing that you would like to do for work, for a living, after you finished college?
In a perfect world, I would like to be a lawyer.
In the perfect world, I would be in the NFL.
In the perfect world, I would own my own company.
In a perfect world, I'd still be a music teacher.
In a perfect world, I'd probably still be a labor and delivery nurse.
In a perfect world, I'd probably be an administrator.
In a perfect world, I would be a politician.
And now we have a little bit of time left in our presentation. First of all, let me just give a round of applause for our panel up here. And special thanks to our audience. You all have been wonderful during this presentation. I want to thank you all in this room for everything that you've done to come here, be good listeners, be active listeners. And right now, this is a great opportunity with the short time we have left. Dr. Graff has graciously volunteered to walk the student pathways, and if you have any questions for a student, for a teacher, for anyone here up on stage that you would like to ask after listening to all that you've heard, is there anyone in the audience that might have a question that's on their mind right now they would like to ask?
Come on, who has a burning question for one of our panelists? All right, a brave soul. Pass it down.
Would you say that taking an AP class or a dual enrollment class, that it would be unnecessary to take that class if that's not something you would want to do for your major? Like it would be a waste of time?
I would say 100% yes, because I took like everything under the sun. I took like both calculuses, I took stats, I took physics, and now I go to school for music. And I can say that AP and ECE 100% benefited me going into college because, as I said, I'm now, like, I guess, like, after the first semester, I'm pretty sure my credit standing makes me a junior, which gets me more perks, like class picking and, like, picking housing and just getting those gen eds out of the way and being able to focus on my major no matter what it is you want to go into school for.
I would say 100% yes. Like, if you don't enjoy writing and reading, you shouldn't take AP Lit because it's just going to be like a world of like struggle if you're taking AP Lit. Same thing if you're not really that good at math and you prefer like the English route for a career, taking AP Calculus wouldn't really be the best route for you.
All right, we have one more question.
If we don't take the AP test, will we still get the AP credit, like if we do the full year?
Great question. Do you have to take the AP exam in order to get the AP credit?
Yes, in order to get actual credit, you need to sit for the exam, which is held, AP exams are held in May. and you do have to get that score
ECE is
of a
different.
4 or 5 or 3 or
that's
3 in some cases.
Mr. Peters
but
will address that.
Yes, that's AP is different than how you get the credit for example, UConn, ECE, or other dual enrollment classes.
But I do want to clarify. I use the example of calculus a little bit because that's been my closest experience. Let's say you sign up for AP Calculus and you go, I don't want to take that AP exam in the spring. I don't want to sit for it. You could sign up for AP Calculus, enroll in UConn's dual enrollment option, and get college credit for that,
So you can get the UConn
and then
credit
not sit in
by
the spring.
passing
It is
class.
possible to do things like that. So if your course offers both,
Yep.
it is possible for you to say, well, I'm just going to do the dual enrollment
So say
option
again?
and not sit for the test in the spring.
Yes.
Or on the flip side, you could say, I don't want to sign up for the
What
dual
class
enrollment
is it?
option, which, by the way, I don't recommend because chances
Yeah,
are, if you're
sign up
sitting
for
in this
dual
class
enrollment.
anyway,
Yeah.
you're doing the work.
All right.
Was that our bell there?
Believe it or not, that is the bell. So one last round of applause for our panelists. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. If you want to hang back and ask them questions and say hello, feel free. Everyone else, thank you very much, and head to lunch.